Hi, everybody. This is Jose here. This video is going to um, basically assist students in how to use their PDF reader to complete the third exam that's upcoming next week. If you already have an Adobe Reader and you know how to use the comments on there, more specifically, you know how to draw on your PDF documents, then you just might want to go ahead and just skip this entire process here, because this first half of the video is just going to explain to students how to download the Adobe Acrobat um, Reader if they already don't have it, and just to make sure that you have the comments tools enabled in your program. So Boston University already offers to all their students and faculty and staff the Adobe Creative Cloud suite. The website for that is bu.edu/tech/services/digital-multimedia-production/Adobe-creative-cloud. That website is really long to type in. So if you already know how to get to the BU Tech website, which would be right here, which is just bu.edu/tech. If you go under services, in the featured services area, the Adobe Creative Cloud link is there. You would just click on that and you would be taken to the same page that I just described to you moments earlier. Or what you can just do is open up a new browser and type in Boston University Adobe Creative Cloud or something similar to that. And then the link itself through the BU website will probably be the first or the second link, depending on how many ads you have up on the top. All right, so this first page essentially is just telling you all the benefits, key features, what to expect, and your system requirements for your computers. The actual installation instructions is on the second link here. And just follow along to all the instructions that it has outlined here, most especially if you already have an Adobe ID and you're already signed in with your own personal Adobe ID. Say, for example, it's linked to your Mac email or your Gmail account or something like that. You actually need to sign out first before you install the BU license software, because this is going to be going through your bu.edu credential accounts. If you scroll to the bottom of this instructions site, you also see specific installations instructions for Mac users as well as Windows users. So once you're done installing what's known as the Creative Cloud client, that program is going to look something like this. And let me just minimize all the other folders that I have open here. This Creative Cloud desktop client looks something like this, where it has all of the other programs listed here. So you actually haven't downloaded any of the programs themselves. You just downloaded this client that allows you to download other programs as you see fit. The program that I do recommend for you to use, if you already don't have it to complete the exams, is the Acrobat DC program, the digital cloud program. That's version 20.0. If it isn't already installed by the time you open up the Creative Cloud desktop icon, then it'll pretty much have an install button here. But for mine, since I already have it installed, it's already open. As you can see, other programs that I haven't installed but are available to me, they'll have the install button there. But for the Acrobat Digital Cloud, if you don't already have it installed, install it and then go ahead and open it. That program is going to look like this. So when you open it, it's essentially going to have a home and also a tools tab. Immediately, I want everyone to go to the Tools tab and just make sure that they have the comments tools added to their toolbar over on the right-hand side. So for example, if you don't have the comment section or the comments tool feature already added to the right-hand toolbar, a add feature will go ahead and appear itself. So once you click on, add on the add button or add the shortcut here, that comment feature will then show up there. It's very convenient just to have it there in the toolbars section over on the right-hand side. Once you're pretty much at this step, you're just set to go. And the only thing that we'd ask you to do now at this point would be to test the PDF document that Dr. Tolan has sent to everyone. That's kind of used as a way to just practice, to make sure that you're comfortable entering information in the fields, and then also using that drawing function that we are going to ask you to do for those kind of like electron pushing style questions. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and open that document that Dr. Tolan sent us. I will do it through File, Open, and it should be this one here. And you're going to get a document that looks pretty much like this. Make sure that at the beginning you fill in your information, your name, your ID number, and such in the format that we ask you to. And essentially, the fields are just going to kind of look one of two ways. They'll either be this kind of teal, light blue box without any borders in there that just pretty much indicates you to put your cursor in that box, click on it, and then just go ahead and start typing your answers in there. For things like multiple choice and true false, we will have boxes over on the the left hand side where you can just click on that box and enter the letter that you would like to designate as your answer. So for example, enter the letter corresponding to your favorite snack. You have A for fruits, B for veggies, C for ice cream, D for all of the above, E for none of the above. My answer would be D. And you'll notice that especially for the true, false, and the multiple choice, we've designed these text boxes such that only one letter is allowed to be entered at a time. So, just make sure that you have the correct letter in there before you hit save and send and upload that document on Gradescope. You might also have like fill in the blank type of responses where we'll have like a paragraph of some sort of like, enzyme mechanism or some like stepwise functions or something like that, where we'll have to ask you to enter, protein names, cofactor, substrates, mechanisms, things like that, keywords, which you'll just go ahead and just start to, enter in the answers as you see fit. Here I would just put in, I'm attending like Boston University, majoring in biochemistry. You would go ahead and just, use this document to test to make sure that the information that you're putting in actually stays inside the, the fields, and there's nothing wrong with your document reader or anything like that, such that you don't have any issues when you're actually doing the third exam next week. For things like short answer, you will have a field box in which you'll just go ahead and put your cursor in there and start typing away 3 to 4 to 5 word type of short response answer. So for your example, which Biochemistry I lab experiment was your favorite? I would put the LDH purification lab. Notice that if I continue to start typing and I reach the end of the box, that is pretty much a sign that my answer is way too long, and that I would have to, use better words or kind of like shorten my answer. We don't want students to use the scroll feature and have text that's hidden outside of the box. Otherwise, when we scan these exams on Gradescope, that text won't be picked up by the software itself, and then you're going to get a few points marked off. So we are locking these boxes such that if it's a single line or multiple lines, essentially your whole entire answer should fit in those boxes, but we'll make sure to design these answer boxes accordingly. For the short answer, the longer answer types of questions, again, here it might say something like explain, or might have to give a much more longer type of answer or justification. Here I would say, something profound and intelligent. I would say something like, the lab was, legitness or something like that. Again, note that if you try to be a little too wordy with your answers and stuff like that, you will reach the limit, in which, we just pretty much design these boxes so that students give an appropriate sized answer. But also, we don't want to be reading paragraphs and novellas in terms of the actual answer itself, or the answer length on the exam. Now, last here, we have this prompt, or this, kind of like practice exercise that says, draw a curved arrow from the 2 dots to the top of the triangle. So essentially what we're trying to do here is make sure that you have the features readily available in your program so that you can do these like electron pushing types of questions, or, draw like a structure or something like that. So I'm going to visit this comment tool on the right of my program, and when I click on it, all the different common features become available to myself. Here at this point, what I would like to do is click on the drawing tool. And there's a lot of, kind of like versatility to this. We really don't want you guys changing the color too much, or changing the width or the thickness of your actual drawings, because what's going to happen is you're just going to waste a lot of time with unnecessary aesthetics during the exam, when you should kind of just, get through all the questions as soon as possible. If you have some, extra time later, you can go ahead and change, all those types of features on your drawings. But with this pencil here, what I'm just going to do, what it allows me to do, is just essentially make a drawing. And so if I click and hold down my mouse, I can essentially make a arrow on the exam or whatever document that you're working on. You like I said earlier, you can change the colors if you want to, but the grade scope, even if you have your arrows in black, that's okay. Grade scope essentially knows what the template exam looks like, and any other additional drawings will show up as your answers. So you don't have to have, a black arrow per se. You can have like a blue or a red. Just don't do anything crazy, like have like white arrows where we can't see them or anything like that. Again, you can also change the line thickness as well as you want to, but I wouldn't recommend wasting your time on the initial moments of the exam trying to do some, these types of like frivolous actions, where you should just kind of be focusing on the questions themselves. A few things about the comments feature, especially for the drawing tools here. So there is another feature here called the Keep Tool Selected Thumb push pin or thumbtack or whatever it is. If I have and select a comment tool, like for example, this pencil marking, and this push pin is also selected, like the keep tool selected, any arrow that I draw, or any drawings that I draw, whether they're continuous or not, they all kind of get lumped into the same drawing until I go ahead and deselect the pencil. Here, it only shows one box around the first initial drawing that I made. But if we go and select through the comments, we'll see my original box over my original drawing, and then the second final box over that entire mishmash of arrows that I had earlier. What I want to warn students is that for the purposes of, something complicated like an involved electron pushing type of diagram, I recommend that if you have this feature on, click on the pencil, draw your first arrow, and then deselect the pencil, and then reselect it again, and then draw your second arrow. Because what's going to happen is, if you started figuring out halfway through your answer that your first 2 arrows were wrong, all you can basically do is just go back to those individual comments and then redraw them however you see fit, instead of drawing an entire scheme of arrows here and there and then figuring out, oh gosh, one of the very first arrow is incorrect, but now I have to basically delete my entire masterpiece here because they all got lumped into one entire comment here. So what I suggest is, for every single arrow that you're going to push, activate the drawing tool, finish the arrow, and then just deselect it. And that's if you have this keep tool selected feature on, which you'll know if you have any comment selected. You just go and click there, and if there's a check mark, that means it's just going to have the whole thing on until you deselect it, reselect it again, and then another arrow or another drawing comes up as a separate comment, and you can kind of just shuffle through these as you want. Because the other function, if the tool is not kept selected here, you still end up getting this like weird addition and combination of all the comments. As you can see here, no new comment is made for every new arrow that I keep on adding, even though I have to go back and reselect the tool all the time. So what if you want to use this type of method where the tool is not kept selected, what I recommend essentially is to draw an arrow. Your tool's deselected, but you either have to go and click on another comment or click somewhere else on the page and then draw another arrow. And oh, it did it again. Darn it. Yeah, it's this tool selection thing is a little weird. It's funny. It just keeps on adding it to like one big thing. So all I recommend is that just always keep the tool selected and just make sure that you toggle the drawing tool on and off. So again, just for one more last example, take that pencil, activate it or toggle it on, draw your first arrow, toggle it off, then toggle it back on, and a new drawing and a new comment will be made such that they're independent from each other, and you can kind of like delete each one without having to delete your whole drawing. I am using a mouse for this, and so if you aren't using a mouse, don't want to use a mouse for the examiner, just using the touchpad on your laptop, you can, and using the touchpad with the drawing tool could be a little bit more intensive. It could be a little bit more frustrating because you don't get that much accuracy or flexibility. You could also kind of look at this one here. This is the draw connected lines tool, and if I click on that instead for my comments, instead of the pencil, what I could do is essentially just start with one mouse click, and then I can just continue kind of like in these multi-line type of fashion, extend the arrow with additional clicks, and I can make one side of the arrow, go back to the beginning of the arrow, click again, and then click on the end of the arrow. And when I'm done and I want to pinch off this drawing, what I essentially do on my touchpad is just double click, and then a new line comes up. So if you don't have a mouse and you kind of wanted a little bit more accuracy, you can go ahead and use this multi-line type of tool up here to draw an arrow. So what we recommend everyone to do is just basically save their PDF with everything on there, and then email it to yourselves, download the document again. This time it's now going to be your saved modified PDF version. Open it up and just make sure that everything that you had typed in all the fields is there, because if not, then you have a little bit of an issue with your software. I'd be more than happy to help you either through Zoom or through email on how to fix that, whatever issues you're having. But essentially, we want everyone to do this little test where you email your saved document to yourself, open it up, and then just make sure that all of the information that you had put in there, whether it's actually true or false or whatever, was actually saved in there. Because when we receive the documents through Gradescope, we just want to make sure that everyone's information got saved there, especially for the exams. So if you have any questions, please email me. Again, that's medrano@bu.edu, and best of luck with the third exam.